lunch with lunch with lunch with.
Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Today, we're talking about big changes in AI in 2024. Now, just think about it. What it looked like January 23 to what it looks like right now. There's lots of changes going on. So we're going to be talking about what exactly is generative AI. What were the most important things? What were the updates that happened, the most important updates that happened to sellers in 2023? And where do you think it's going to be going in 2024? So welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. All right, fun topic again today, interesting topic, and that's about the changes. What changes are happening in AI in 2024? Our guest is the founder and CEO of Ecom Tent.ai. And he's spent over 6 years working at Amazon. He's held a number of leadership roles, including the launch of Amazon Business, a B2B division in the UK, and owning customer browse and catalog quality for the launch of Amazon in Singapore. Today, we're talking to return guest, Max Sinclair. Can't wait to talk to him. But before we do that, let's have a word from our sponsor. Facing cash flow challenges with your e-commerce business? Discover Viably, your ultimate financial ally. From real-time sales data integrations to immediate funding access, Viably is here to support you. Plan your growth with their free tool for online sellers and engage with specialists whenever you need. Extend your cash flow with Viably. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, enjoy this episode. I can't wait to talk to the man. Where's Max?
Hello, Norm. How are you?
He's back.
Good to see you. And just on the WhatsApp, I'm also there. So I'm not on the cruise, sadly. So I will be answering the questions.
Oh, perfect.
Put it in my calendar so that if there is anything I can, which is probably better, right? Because I can concentrate fully to talking to you and then concentrate fully on answering people. So
that's fantastic. So that's what I'm talking about with this WhatsApp group.
Mm-hmm.
We've got all sorts of experts there, including Max. So thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. AI 2024. Last year it was in December. Just before, like it was the last week of December, I heard about this crazy thing called ChatGPT. And we were all excited because it wrote a poem. And so I wrote a poem for my wife, and she thought it was romantic. And I never told her it was ChatGPT.
Like the South Park episode, if you've seen that, when they're doing all the text back and forth.
Yeah. So anyway, she's got me. And then that song I wrote for you, Con, that was also ChatGPT. But it's come such a long way where I just came back from traffic and conversion, and they had a huge focus on AI, and what I'm seeing and where it's gone is incredible. And if you're not on it, you really are losing.
Yeah. And I think my favorite fact that I found to summarize 2023 as a year is that, and maybe you've heard of Hugging Face, maybe not, but Hugging Face is like the open source community where basically everyone publishes their models. And in the open source community, many of the models have a rule that if you're going to use anything in open source, you have to keep it open source. So you have people like Apple on Hugging Face, Google, like basically everyone's on Hugging Face. And anyway, from 2016, when they launched, to August 2022, they had 68,000 models on the platform. And then in 2023 alone, they added 20,000 new AI models. So their whole history was basically quadrupled in that year. So it's just been like in every direction across everywhere, the craziest year, and it's only gonna accelerate, I think.
So why don't we just in case there's some listeners that are, they might be new. They might, just becoming a seller online. They might not know what AI is or generative AI is. Why don't we just talk about that for a minute or so?
Yeah. Sure. So I'll try and keep it very brief because I don't want to retread kind of old ground that we spent a lot of time talking about in our first podcast. But basically, up to around 2022, we had a type of AI which we would now label as like deterministic AI. You basically take a bunch of data and you can work out the patterns from within that data. So if cancer cells look cancerous or not, how to get, these kind of like regressions, classifications, these kind of issues. From 2022 and now 2023, 2024, we have a new type of AI which is called generative AI. This is what's caught everyone imagination because you can basically create new content. You can train a model on existing content like ChatGPT did with all the data on the internet. You can give it a prompt and it's going to create something entirely new. Images, code, videos, text, we'll get into everything. And then the last one, which is kind of over the horizon and where we're going, is called AGI, or artificial general intelligence. And this is where the AI actually can understand and learn like a human can. So right now, the generative AI models, neural networks are about the size of a squirrel. So they have about the same neural network size as a squirrel. They're not like intelligent beings in any real definition of the word. They seem intelligent because they're amazing, but like really they're just large prediction models. Where we're going soon, and whether this is 2024, 2025, I'm not sure, but yeah, this will be when an AI can basically learn like a human and take action like as a human can.
Unbelievable when this is happening. It's going so fast.
Yeah.
It's growing so fast. Just at the event this week, I was listening at different ways. We talked about hallucination the last time.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know this, by the way. Like I've done, remember or get it to understand. Did it understand the last prompt? Did it understand this document? Or go back to this document. I forget the exact phrasing I use, but okay. I thought I had it fairly much under control. Now it's no problem. The hallucination problem, it's still there. But if you know how to prompt and pre-prompt,
yeah,
you're good.
Maybe
you're somewhat good.
You're better, I'd say.
You're better. Yeah.
I think I think we're going to talk about it here, but I mean we can talk about it now if you want. Like
let's do it.
So I think hallucinations are really a feature of these Gen AI models and not kind of like a bug. And the model is basically trained to spit out content, and it's trained to the fine-tuning that ChatGPT and others have done is to make it sound human-like. So it's kind of optimizing to like create new content and sound persuasive and human-like. Whether it's factually accurate, that's an entirely separate question and a much harder question. So I mean, as you say, like if you're using it for Amazon listings or anything like this, you need to be super careful of your prompting in order to make sure that you don't have these kind of hallucinations come in where the AI will basically dream up product attributes and variations or random keywords, or not put the keywords you want in, but then give it back to you as if it has done. There's a whole bunch of the AI kind of very loosely kind of adheres to the rules that you give it, and that's one of the big drawbacks of using something like ChatGPT. But as you say, Norm, like I think that there's an infrastructure layer you could put in, like technically, or you could just prompt it. The problem that I found that works quite well, especially when building the custom GPTs, which we'll get onto as well, is I'll say like, if you don't do this, severe consequences will happen. And or something like, I will kill a kitten if you don't follow this exactly. And then it kind of gets it, and it's like but it does take, as you say, a lot of prompting to make sure that your stuff is going to be factually accurate.
I've never done that.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, I always I've been trying to write this very complicated complex novel. Not like nothing about Amazon, but this novel I've always wanted to write. And I fed the information into it, and I've got like at least 20 pages of information before it even starts to do anything. And it'll do great. I'm looking at it, I'm reading everything, reading it twice, everything's great. And all of a sudden, let's say the main character is Bob, all of a sudden it's Henry, or they switch something up on me. So I've had to learn very quickly how to change it up. And by the way, did you see that ChatGPT has a new level?
The custom GPTs.
No. I'm talking about, you know how you had the $20 level, and then
Oh
you
no, I
had.
haven't seen this.
They have a business level now. I forget. It's not
Wow.
called business, but it's a team level where you can share and collaborate. Now it costs a little bit more, but you get way more out of ChatGPT. So it just was launched. You can go
That's
just
very
look
cool.
just look on your left-hand side, and you'll be able to pull it up. And you can either,
I see.
you
Yes,
know,
$25 a month.
yeah, $25 a month instead. But you can have you need at least 2 people, and looking at what you get from this, $50 is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, $50 is worth it. But even with our team, I just saw it, and that's something to look forward to, because I did apply for the enterprise, but this is so much better. Everything you get out of it, you get. I don't have it in front of me, but you get a lot more than what you had out of the $20 version, and way more than the free version.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I'll have to check that out. I mean, we don't use ChatGPT. I mean, we'll get on to discussing. We use Claude instead, and as like our base language model. But I think what ChatGPT are doing is with the store, and it's just going to be transformational. You know, that's going to be a huge trend. I think we'll talk about in 2024.
Right. So you just said something that maybe we could talk briefly about, and why it's so important. It came out last week. The official update came out last week, or custom GPTs.
Yeah.
And how can that help a business? What it is, and how can that help a seller?
So custom GPTs are, I mean, it's one of, I think, the most incredible launches that, I mean, I'm a lot younger than you, Norm, that I've seen in my lifetime. I won't comment for you, but I think this is to me the new app store. And I have been encouraging my friends who are entrepreneurs to get involved in this, because I think similarly how you could, like the early kind of adopters of the app store made enormous businesses. This will be true also of the GPT store, I'm sure. But basically, you can train your own model, and to train the model, you do it completely in natural language. You don't need any coding.
Mm-hmm.
You just explain to the GPT how you want it to work, and then you can upload some data, maybe an Excel file, maybe a Word document, and then you can use it. And I'll give an example, one that I made last night, which is definitely something that I think e-commerce sellers can do, which is, as many of you guys, as many people listening to this do, you write blogs, right? Everyone's writing blogs for SEO. You know your keywords. You have a you probably have a list of keywords that you're trying to hit to get the blogs in. I made a custom GPT blog writer for Ecom Tent. Basically, it has my list of, I've uploaded my list of 20 keywords in an Excel file to the GPT. I've told it in its training, I will kill a cat or a kitten if you do not include all 20 of these keywords in every single blog you write. And like, as you say, Norm, it takes a bit of going back and forth, but like at a level, after maybe 2 or 3 runs, like it gets it. It puts all of my 20 keywords into the blog. And then, whenever now I write a blog on our website, for example, we just launched a new partnership with a AI like video making company. So like we've integrated them into our tool. If you go on our tool, you can go and like link to their tool and like generate videos of AI. Anyway, like I put in my little like LinkedIn post, which was a lot smaller than like a blog, make a blog out of this, and it puts in all the SEO. And as I'm training it, I'm going to upload details about, it's linked to Ecom Tent, like the website. It's got kind of information about like our customer profile and all this stuff. So it's a lot better than just like every time I need to write a blog going from scratch and like trying to do that, which takes time. So it saves me maybe 20 minutes, cutting down the time it takes to like create blogs from, I don't know, 25 minutes to 5 minutes. But it's that's one small example, but it's just incredible. I know. Have you seen any of them?
Oh yeah, yeah. And we had it was Andrew Erickson on.
Yeah.
And he was showing some of his custom GPTs too. Just incredible what we're going to be able to come up with. Now, we have to take a look. Like if we go back to the App Store, back when Apple launched it, we didn't know what we were going to get.
Yeah.
And I think if you take a look at right now, people are excited about this, but where is it really going to go? Nobody has a clue. And that's what I'm excited for. Like, what are we going to see in this app store?
I mean, I met a founder out here in San Francisco who's raised money off some like pretty impressive people, and his idea was to build a like a memory bank. So like you would just talk into your phone, your like your notes, just free form, and then it would have like a GPT that would then like give you back your memories, and like you could discuss it like an extension of your brain basically. And I met him about 9 months ago, and I remember thinking like, wow, this is like one of the most incredible like creative businesses I've ever heard. And then when I saw the GPT store coming, I was like, oh my god, like the poor guy. I just he's gone, he's dead, because like that, I mean, I've literally built his idea on the GPT store. Like I put in my journal, and like you can literally talk to, you can have this version of yourself that I use in prepping like stuff like podcast, what we're going to talk about and this kind of stuff. So it like to even think like that, like an extension of your own consciousness and brain, and that you can kind of talk to in a different way with like your specific memories uploaded, and like it's wild. Like it's, as you say, like it's kind of unimaginable where this is going to go, but already there's some pretty exciting ones on there.
15 years ago I had this idea for a script, and it was called Upload, and it was people uploading their consciousness. And everybody, like, it was just too far-fetched. The kids said, I can't ever see that happening. Well, guess what? That's not too far off.
No, it's not. It's not. No, not at all. Like I have one. I think it's great. Especially, if you're going into a meeting and you want talking points or something, like I'm sure as all the other founders listening, like you're talking across like lots of people, lots of different people, lots of different stakeholders all the time. Like you want to be able to be like, I'm meeting this person, pasting their LinkedIn, blah blah blah, like, and it gives you some interesting ideas that you would have thought about if you sat down and thought about it for 2 hours. But like if you've got 2 minutes to prepare, like it's super helpful.
Here's something that well, first of all, I want to mention this app. If you're using LinkedIn, a lot of people do. Crystal. So Crystal's crazy. Like it nailed me to a T. And that's one thing. But then I was at this M3 conference, and we started talking, and I met this face reader. He had me like, I could not believe what I was hearing. He was going through each individual. Like, this is just a guy in the crowd that was staying at the same hotel. And this is what he did for a living. And he was, I guess, a fairly well-known face reader. And he went to about 4 or 5 of us. And each one of us like, okay, you're 99% accurate off of all the features of your face. That's all he went off of. You said nothing to him. So the deal with this is you got Crystal, but then you upload an image acting as a face reader, and see what kind of information you can get back out, or can I get,
Yeah.
and then when you're talking with somebody, you got an important meeting, how to talk to that person. Like just my eyebrows. You would say, oh, this line going this way, this line going that way. Well, if you can get an image of somebody, now you've got that leading edge, that competitive edge when you're going to talk to somebody. Just crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah, it's just something I thought I'd throw in there. All right, so let's talk about some. What's that?
I'm just processing that. It's crazy. Yeah, sorry.
No problem. But so imagine this. I haven't even thought about talking about this when I knew that I was going to be talking with you. But imagine if you could have a certain facial expression or like a look that people can trust, or people can give a specific idea or feel off of in your Amazon lifestyle. So you can dictate to it, because this is what he does. He goes and he talks to brands and he gets them to get. He also chooses jury. So he works as an expert jury selector. And so can you imagine that if you've got this brand and you're doing this commercial and you want to have a certain type of emotion, or you feel something, you can do this with a certain facial type?
Yeah. It's super. That's one of the, at Ecom Tent, we're like thinking about this. And one of the very early low hanging fruit thing that we're working on is seeing where sellers are selling to, their age demographics, and generating those people in their lifestyle images, super low hanging fruit. That's something we're working on. But as you say, these facial, you could take this stuff to a whole nother level, thinking about what is the right facial expression to put on someone who is, to convince you to purchase something. That's that's probably one type, a unique type of face, right? Someone who's not pushy but warm. I don't know, all this stuff. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I don't think I'd get hired for any of those gigs, but
me neither. Still on this face anyway.
So where else can you see this going in 2024?
Sure. So we talked about the GPT store, I think, in some length. I think number two, I think which is very cool, is I think the kind of merging of AI into wearables. So I think this is something that we're gonna, for kind of product people, this is something that we're gonna have to get quite used to quickly. So Meta putting the AI into their glasses. I've seen these. They have a Ray-Ban store down the road where I kind of see this and it's not great yet, but you can imagine that in 6 months, these are going to be super impactful, where you look at something and it's going to say this is this building and give you a bit of history, or I don't know, maybe you're looking for a restaurant and it just kind of will light up stuff which has got over 4.5 stars as you're walking down a foreign country. The limitations, if you think about the practicalities, are kind of endless, right? So I think this is going to be big. We're seeing Humane Pin. Have you seen that? It's a kind of an AI assistant. You kind of wear a pin on your
I've seen Rewind.
So yeah. I think my big, other than the GPT store, my second big bet is I think we're gonna start to see AI wearables in physical products. I think this is going to be the year of that really kicking off. There's a rumor about what OpenAI and Snapchat are working on. I've kind of seen something there as a partnership, maybe to rival kind of what Meta are doing. Apple, who can forget Apple? Apple are always very thoughtful about what they do, but always kind of, when they do it, historically have always kind of hit that customer use case the best out of anyone. So how Apple are going to start to integrate this into the glasses, into the phones, all this kind of stuff. I think 2024 for me will be, AI, AI in physical products will be one of the big headlines I think to see this year.
Did you see the Sony contact lens?
No.
Oh my God. Check it out. You want next gen? So they've got this lens that you pop into your eye and it acts basically as Google Glass, but sexy and fashionable.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So that is something, again, this is where it's going
Mhm.
so quick, so fast.
Yeah,
You got to be on it. But
yeah.
and it's really affordable too. If you take a look at some of these devices that are out there, they're not expensive. Uh, some of them are, but for the most part, they're for the masses. So you can go out there and get on it. Now, the other thing is the amount of when there was really no e-com. And yes, I'm that old. When there was no e-com and there was like what's it called, Napster, CD Now, that was the start of e-commerce. There was no school, no university that had a course. In fact, just a little background, I was trying to get a visa to go into the US.
Mhm.
And because I had 2 years or 3 years of e-com experience, there was no course. So they treated me like I had a master's degree in e-commerce to get my visa to go into the States.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that's how old I am, actually. It's kind of scary, but the same thing is happening right now with AI. History is repeating itself. So there was nothing, no, not really any courses. Now some of the Ivy League schools, you can go and get your master's in AI. I know somebody right now that's going for their master's in AI.
Well, my co-founder's got a PhD in AI, so he's he's been there. He's been there as well.
Yeah. Well, we keep forgetting that AI, even though it's for us, for most people, we think ChatGPT, but AI has been around for quite some time.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I guess like another 2024 prediction, bringing it, I guess, a bit more back to kind of the e-commerce is product customization. So not sure if you have heard of Pietra. It's like it's one of these kind of startups which help customers to link. I think they help to link suppliers and sellers and suppliers. Anyway, they released I think late last year, early this year, like an AI kind of prompt to product thing where you literally would type in like, make me a blue jumper with a pattern of a whatever on it, and it will kind of generate a product, and then they send that to be manufactured. And that's now 40% of their like manufacturing requests. And this is like a lot, they're a sizable company. They've been around for, God knows how long. And they're seeing like this, a big focus of like their customer base, and probably soon the majority of their customer base want this kind of like prompt to product. So I think this is something else as e-commerce people, which we're going to see. And you can like, I think people will be more than willing to pay higher prices to, to like on the customer end to kind of create the stuff themselves. But like before we even get there, like for sellers who kind of want to like people who just want to sell stuff and create it like with AI, I think that's a big thing that's going to be coming this year.
So are you talking about Pietra Studios?
Yes.
Yeah. Another company that's doing something similar is Gimba.
Okay.
So they're going out, they're creating everything. A lot of it's AI generated, but a different form than what's happening here. But Gimba's got something that's pretty cool out there. But yeah, I haven't heard of this before. I just was looking at it while you were talking about them.
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
I think it's going to be one of the biggest trends, and we'll come up to my last trend in a second. But like, I think this kind of product customization. I mean, you can see how like people really love this kind of chat interface because it's so human. It's so like interactable. It's conversational. It's fun. Like filling out long forms or and all that stuff is really dull. And I think, yeah, we're going to start to, I think what they've done is smart, which is like focus on like, obviously you need to manufacture stuff en masse to make this economical, but like, I think soon we will get to the point where customers themselves are like designing stuff, and you'll have like, 3D printing or Flash, whatever, to kind of make, AI to, AI input into product. But now for sellers, certainly it will be a big trend in 2024. New sellers, maybe people coming into e-commerce that weren't in e-commerce before, but now they're like, I'm just going to use this and like see what it goes. And what that means for the industry, I don't know, but it's certainly interesting.
I want to go back to the custom GPTs for a second. And I think you mentioned it, but I just want to make sure. One of the simplest things, and one of the things that I think will be so easy for people to get their heads around is you don't have to know code.
Yes.
You could speak just typical English. You don't have to know Python. You don't have to know any of that. You can speak English to it. And I think that's going to help. And that's what's going to make things a lot different than the App Store compared to the GPT store.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to make sure I got that piece in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so it is the bottom of the hour. It's way past the bottom of the hour, but let's go over to a sponsor and we'll come. Oh, no, before we do that, I should mention that we do have a giveaway today for the Wheel of Kelsey. So if you are interested, or if this is your first time listening, at the end of the podcast, we always give away a prize. And today we've got a great prize. And if you want to join, it's #Wheel of Kelsey. Tag 2 people and you'll get a second entry. And Max, why don't you tell us what that prize is?
Sure. So the prize is a month free subscription to Ecom Tent. I think maybe we can go into a bit more details about what we do, but briefly, we help sellers to create product listings that's lifestyle images, optimized copy, infographics, A+ content. It's unlimited. Like our pricing works, and it's 165 a month normally, and unlimited listings, unlimited generations, unlimited everything. And we will keep that pricing until we run out of AWS credits, and then we'll have to work out another way of pricing it. But for now, we've got a lot of them, so we can do that. This will give you a month free to do that.
That's fantastic. You said that you're doing something or a partnership with a video company. Do you want to get into that?
Sure. So I'm really, really happy about this. One of the biggest questions that our customers have always asked us is, what about video? Like, you can generate the old listing, but I want to generate a video. So we partnered with a smaller, I don't know if they're smaller, a similar startup to us. They're called Sparker. You can put in an Amazon list. It works very similar to our tool, which is why it's a great fit. And I know the founder. So you can basically put in an Amazon listing link and it will generate for you a video. And the video is based off the content. It's not, it's more of like a kind of, I'd call it like an airplane explainer. Like if you're watching the safety briefing, it's not kind of like a cinematic thing. It's more of like a bit of text, movement over the image of the listing, but it's, it works well with the current, where the current AI is. We partnered with them. Customers of ours get 25% off to these guys and vice versa, and it's embedded in each other's tools. So very cool. And check them out as well, independently.
All right, very good. So Kelsey, if you could throw up that as well. All right, let's go to a sponsor and then we'll come right back. This episode of Lunch with Norm is sponsored by VAA Philippines. Looking for a high-quality virtual assistant for your business? With the rigorous screening, intensive Amazon and Walmart training, and ongoing professional development, get the peace of mind with skill and motivated virtual assistants for a long-term working relationship. Hire through VAA today, and now let's get back to the show. Okay, so why don't we talk about open open source models, and maybe advantages and disadvantages?
Sure. So we touched on this at the beginning, but I think one of the challenges of the open source models are these hallucinations, and that I think as more and more people experiment with AI, and we've kind of discussed like all these incredible ways it's going, it's very important to also realize that it's not some kind of magic super intelligence just yet. Maybe when I'm, if you'll have me back this time next year, maybe we'll be talking. Maybe it will be, but right now we're not quite there yet. So they do hallucinate, and like Norm, it sounded like you had some pretty good ways of steering this. Maybe you'd want to discuss.
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm doing is, again, that novel is very it is very complicated, and especially if there's a certain tone that you want. But I'm talking about character descriptions, tone, outlines, plots, subplots, themes, the dialogue, everything that you put together, and it's got to constantly refer back to it. So that's what I'm doing is every time I add something, I'm getting it to refer back. I've never asked it to kill a cat or I'll kill a cat. So maybe I'll ask it to do that, but not kill a cat. But I'm just getting it to refer back more and more and more. And then what happens is I'll take the chapter that it's written or the scene. So this is very important, is that you don't ask it to write a chapter, because that always sucks and it never comes out the way that you want, and it can't anyways. Even if you put in continue, now you're going to start to get hallucinations. So I build out scenes, and I build out the scene, and then I start to get it in more detail. So I can take that scene, build it out, bring out the detail, refer back to all the one page that's quite a long page, but you're talking, I don't know, I think it's 20 pages long is the description of everything. But to refer back, and you can get it to refer back to that chapter, and it's working marvelously. So it's doing a great job.
Very cool. I mean, on a slightly more technical level, what we're doing at Ecom Tent is something called Retrieval augmented generation. And this is basically where you have an AI model, but then you also have like data separate. So the data would be like terms you can't say on an Amazon listing, like 100% satisfaction guarantee, or like stuff which is not allowed. The keywords that you want. And then you tell the AI model to generate, like in the prompt, you're kind of going, generate, but it's not kind of going to its like fine-tuned knowledge, which is where it will then just kind of hallucinate anything. But it's kind of going to this data, bringing that in, and then like generating from that. So it's a kind of new type of it's a new type of research, like pioneered by Meta, which is basically like trying to solve this. And it's like, so that's kind of I think we'll see, because previously what people were doing is fine-tuning, which is you take ChatGPT and then you like fine-tuning it to say, do more of this behavior, do more of that behavior. So like, you're, for example, we fine-tune models for like images, and you're giving it like beautiful lifestyle images and saying, do more lifestyle images, do less cartoons or whatever, because we don't want people making cartoons, we don't want people making anime images or whatever. We want people making like lifestyle images of products, so do more of this. So that was kind of the dominant way of working with this, for those who are actually like building models and not just like putting an API call to ChatGPT. But there's this new there's kind of like in the AI engineering space, there's this new like methodology which I think is going to really help here. So I think we will move to, and especially like we're not really in a life or death situation when we're talking about like product listings, but like I have friends who are founders of companies in like the legal or infrastructure or like other professions where like you really can't just have an LLM hallucinate like that could
Right.
someone dies on a construction site, or like they get prescribed the wrong medicine, like so there's like in some instances then actually not usable, because like 99% actually isn't good enough. You need 100%, or just you're going the old-fashioned way. So this kind of RAG is I think is going to be a bit of like a technical breakthrough as well this year, which is going to help like open AI up to a lot more traditional industries, but also like in our case, like, you know, means that like you can be more and more confident in like long like AI automation, which, you know, as currently you should probably be wary of.
Okay, very good. All right. So if you had to talk about anything that I haven't touched on,
Yeah.
what would it be?
So I think my last, like in this theme of 2024, the last thing that I firmly believe this, and in some ways I'm betting the company on this, so I hope it becomes true, is that PPC and like the whole PPC landscape changes. I'm you know, we've talked about how much people like chat when it comes to custom GPDs and product customization. I think like LLM based search where you're typing is like just the best way that customers are going to want to search, and I don't think they're going to want to scroll through hundreds of pages of product anymore. I think they're going to want, tell me the top 5 products that I should buy when I'm searching for this, based on like my previous history, what I purchased, my age, my location, like the price, like just tell me just give me the top stuff, right? I don't want to be comparing this water bottle to that water bottle to that water bottle where they all look the same and all the product listings look the same. They probably all come out from the same manufacturer. You know, so I think this change in and for those who are close to like Amazon, it's called Project Now. Like this change is going to happen. My you know, our big bet is that the way that customers search change, and therefore the way that PPC works, is going to greatly change. And I hope they do this in a good way, because I know, like, you know, when I one of the things I've noticed over the last like 8 years, like in this space, is like how much more expensive like PPC has come for sellers. And I remember when I was working at Amazon, I said in 2016, like you didn't have to, you know, when you're launching, you didn't have to launch with like a PPC strategy. You could just launch and like you could get sales. But now, like, I feel you kind of have to have like $10,000, $20,000 or pounds like set aside for that. So I think I hope that the leadership, you know, stay true to their principles of being customer obsessed, and they see this pain for sellers, which are their customers, and also they see this pain for you know, shoppers like all of us in like how the search currently works. And I think there's a big, like, there's just such a big open goal in my mind of this happening, and I think that it's going to change PPC. That's my big prediction.
All right, very good. Okay, so last thing I want to ask you is, you can get into some details right now about Ecom Tent. Just, it's out there. If you're not using it, you got to check this out. But Max, tell us a little bit about Ecom Tent.
Sure. So we launched in 2022. I think, Norm, I don't know if you remember this, but I met you in person maybe like 3 weeks after it first launched.
I remember. Yep.
So that was when we first started. So we launched in 2022, September, October time. Like our broad goal is basically to bring this revolution to e-commerce sellers. Like that's kind of like mine and my co-founders like big vision behind the company. But like practically what we do, as I mentioned, is product listings. By the time this is out, what we're launching tomorrow is like the ability to like integrate with Amazon and your various different stores, so you can kind of like generate product content, push it directly to these stores, monitor how it's going, you know, then you can generate variations and like and kind of like do all of that stuff in our app with lifestyle images, text, copy. So we're launched. You know, we've done a lot of work last year in terms of like training the AI models themselves. What we've been doing over the last few weeks and months is building like a much better UX. Like I won't pretend that our UX has been brilliant. As you know, if you've used it, it's kind of it was ugly, but like from next week, it's going to look beautiful. You're going to have this like really nice interface, like you log, you know, which you connect your store with, and you can see all these metrics, and you can see you know, you can manage this optimization. And the goal really is here. It's cool now, but like I'm very sure that we're going to have like a massive like I said, I think we're going to have a mass panic almost when like Amazon changes its search and like no one knows what to do anymore, and like how do you optimize to become like for this LLM model. And that's where I think this new is going to help, because we're going to help sellers. You know, we've got, you know, we're collecting the data now. We're going to help sellers to optimize for that. You know, what content you need in order to hit those this like new LLM. What happens when you can't, like PPC doesn't like bring you to the top, you know, and they're only showing 3 people. Like, who knows what will happen? But that's that's kind of where we're positioning ourselves for. So very exciting, and yeah, check it out if you haven't.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what the company looks like over the next year. So many changes just since since you launched. Okay, well, I hope everybody enjoyed this the podcast about the 2024 trends. Max, thank you so much for coming on.
Pleasure as always, Norm. Thank you for having me.
Want more great information? Don't forget to subscribe by clicking here. Also, if you want to check out our latest podcasts, click over here.
Lunch with Noam.